Hello and welcome back to another episode of Strong Collectors Comics. My name is Jordan, and I'm joined as ever by my plucky co-host slash sidekick Dakota. And today we're going to be talking about the X-Men. Now, there have been a lot of versions of the X-Men, a lot of different teams. However, we don't think that they've quite cracked the perfect team for every scenario. That's where we come in. So we've got a couple different categories. Dakota, do we want to preface what they're going to be, or are we just going right into it?
Yeah, let's do our categories and then we'll get into it.
Okay, so our first category is selling books, right? If we were with Marvel and they said, "Hey, we really got to move some X-Men books," who would you put on that team? So we got a couple. I think we did. You do 6 or 5?
I have 5, and then I have a 6th just in case I needed to
Okay,
add one more to the team. So
right. Well, you love your runner-ups, so we can hear
I
those
do.
two. For me, I've got 5 for each category. So we've got selling books. We also got a category of cosmic threat. So things are getting serious, and we really need to get the A team together. And then third will be street level. So not gonna end the world, but you still need some certain members to take on that kind of a
Mhm.
threat. And we're gonna break down what ours are, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Do you want to start with your bookseller team?
I will. And one
Okay.
caveat for this, we decided you can only use one person
Mm,
per category, right? So if
yes.
you use them once, they're out. Then you got to
Wolverine
figure
can't
something
be
else
on
out.
every team like he is in real life.
As much as we'd like him to be. And so that said, Dakota, that's a great segue into my selling books team. Because you know what I know, you're going to have Wolverine on that team. Goes without
Yep.
saying. I thought another one, I don't think it's cheating, but I went with Deadpool. I feel like very
Yep.
X Men associated. Can I get away
hmm
with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think anything under the X umbrella, you can use X Force, X Caliber, whatever. It all X Men. It's all good.
Whatever you want to have there. So, okay, so I
Mhm.
got Wolverine, Deadpool. I also went with Cyclops, just
Mm,
because I think when I was thinking about recognizable X Men, I feel like even though there's not always a huge Cyclops fandom, I think he would go on there. And then I went with Storm.
mm.
Again, another one that I think is pretty recognizable. Most people like Storm. And then to bring in our 90s fans that weren't brought in by Deadpool, I'm going to throw Cable on there.
Okay. Nice. I like
And
it.
that's going to be
I
my
think that would
5-person team.
I think that would sell some books. I was gonna say, obviously, with Deadpool coming out, you've got his popularity will help sell the book. Cable as well kind of ties in with Deadpool, a little bit of X-Men 97. I think it'd be a hot seller. My
Okay.
team is so we have a double crossover. So like you said, if you want to sell a book, you're going to need Wolverine on the team. So he was
Mm-hmm.
my first pick. I also had Storm because I think she's maybe more of the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine could be, but I think I would probably default to Storm.
Right.
Then I also added Emma Frost. Some people like their Emma Frost being in there. I thought we got to have a psychic on the team.
Oh, that's fair.
She's a pretty cool psychic. I
Mm-hmm.
think she
And
would
a
sell books a little better than Jean Grey would.
potentially skimpy outfit too, so you got that on the cover.
That depending on how bad we need to sell these books, maybe we go back to a Hellfire type outfit.
Ooh. All right.
Next up on the team, I don't have Cyclops, but I have Havoc because I think
Mm.
to me
Okay.
he's kind of he can sometimes be the cooler brother to Cyclops. Although
Right.
I'm liking
Mm-hmm.
Cyclops more now, but I always, when I was younger, thought that Havoc was cooler. And
Mm.
then
Okay.
jumping on your Deadpool hype, but not adding Deadpool, I'm adding Dazzler. So I think with the
Oh.
Taylor Swift rumors and everything, that's kind of gotten people a little bit more interested in Dazzler. I
Right.
think I think that would be a fun one to add in. Just kind of something,
Hmm.
bring in somebody new that Dazzler is not super well known, but people are
Right.
starting to know her. So maybe they're like, hey, I want to read a little bit more about Dazzler, figure out who this character is.
Hmm.
Boom, book sold.
Yeah, that's fair. I think for me, I probably that'd be my weakness in my team is not having one of those lesser known feat because usually that's how it is. Even if you have a team of like A-listers, they'll
hmm
randomly throw somebody on there that you're like, maybe you like him, maybe you don't, but hopefully they're probably wanting you to pick up that book and follow that character. So
hmm
I could see that doing well. I'm curious about Havoc being on the, but I don't know. Maybe there's a bigger fandom for Havoc than I guess he was on that Avengers team for a while, and kind of I think that
Yeah,
boosted his status as far as like a
Yeah.
leading character. I do
And
agree.
we're also
Havoc's
going to be
cool.
doing this with the Avengers. So I
Mm-hmm.
had thought about adding Havoc on there as kind of like give him some sort of a
Oh.
redemption, because I don't think he ended his time on the Avengers super well.
Yeah, I don't remember how that
But
ended up.
I'm gonna keep him on the X-Men teams.
I like it. Okay, so those books are going to make $1 billion, and then they're like, okay, now we're going to have a cosmic threat come along, and
Mm-hmm.
who are we going to have for that book? So for me, right off the bat, I'm going to need to put Beast on there. And I know what you're thinking, Jordan, what is Beast doing? However, I feel like when you got a cosmic threat, it's very helpful to have the scientist, maybe with a little tech in there. There's always something that the scientist can figure out. And I think Beast, yeah, he could fight if he needed to, but I think he'd bring that element, especially if we got an alien technology. That might be helpful. For a heavy
Smart.
hitter, I'm gonna go with Jean Grey, and I said Phoenix if we can get her. Not sure again
Okay.
how that all works out, right? I'm thinking like you're in real desperate trouble. Somehow she could summon that up and do some damage. And then maybe Beast would have some kind of device to help her out just in case she gets a little lost in the sauce. My third
Okay.
one I went with is going to be a little unexpected, Dakota, I think, and I picked Warlock. And my reason for this is because Warlock specifically, being from the Techno Planet and being able to interface with like any alien technology, I think would be invaluable. I guess it depends on Cosmic if something's coming to Earth, but usually in those stories, someone's going to space, right? So I guess we could go either
Yeah.
way on that. I'd like to have my bases covered, and I'd like to see Warlock kind of get a show his worth, and I think that would be a situation there. Heavy hitter, I'm going to go with Rogue, because I think we need somebody who can fly, who can do some punching. I'm sure some energy absorption could come in there. And segueing into energy absorption, I'm going to go with Bishop. And the
Okay.
reason I picked Bishop, again, with Cosmic, usually you got some wild amounts of energy, radiation, all that stuff going on. And I could see Bishop coming in real handy in that kind of situation. And I think there are some books where you've seen him kind of tap into that upper level of power. But I'd be interested, again, for my own sake, to see it in that context. And that's my 5.
I like it. That's a good team. I like it. I had Beast as my runner-up on the bookseller list, so I didn't have him in my Cosmic team. But I think that does make a lot of sense to have him on the Cosmic team. Warlock is that's a thinking man's choice. Good job. All right.
I want to hear
Not
what
as
you
much. Not as much overlap on this one for us, but I also have Jean on the list. If she's had to deal with cosmic entities, so I'm going to have her on the team. She kind of knows what's going on. I have Cyclops on this team. Maybe he's not going to do super great in space, but if we're on the alien planet, I think Cyclops works well here. Then kind of an oddball pick, not on a lot of X teams, but I got Sunfire. I think he's got the power levels that we would need. And then it's another opportunity to kind of learn more about a character that maybe we don't have tons of books, or he's not on every team like Wolverine usually is. Another one that I don't know how much she's used in modern books, but I've got Tempest, and she's from the Uncanny X-Men, kind of around that all new X-Men time. She was running around with Professor Cyclops when he was kind of the villain era.
Right. You know how I feel about that Cyclops villain era.
It's the best villain. It's the best era for Cyclops, I think. He's
Would you
cool
see
and kind of.
this Cyclops in your mind's eye, cosmic threat? Is he villain era Cyclops?
No, he's
Okay.
he's back to
Right.
the maybe not Boy Scout, but he's back to the good guy Cyclops.
All right.
So yeah, I thought Tempest would be kind of cool for like the time manipulation, freeze the enemies, get them out in a pinch type of thing. And then I've got Polaris as my last.
Oh.
So you've got, I didn't want to add Magneto in. It seems a little too mainstream.
Yeah.
I wanted this to feel cool and fresh. So Polaris with similar powers.
Oh, Polaris.
Something
Good
new.
call. I forgot about that because I was like, man, Magneto would be great. Should have gone with Polaris. Forgot about.
Yeah.
Good. That's a thinking man's choice because that would be a great power. I was thinking about Cyclops because you need the tactician element.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm hoping my other characters could bring that in a bit.
Sure.
I like Polaris though. That's a good call. So while they're fighting the cosmic threat, Dakota, what do you know? There's some street level stuff going on at the same time, and they're like, "Hey, Dakota and Jordan, we need another book for this, and we got you covered." So for my street level X-Men team, my 5, I'm gonna pick number 1. Of course, I gotta go with Gambit, the Raging
Mm-hmm.
Cajun himself. I don't think it gets more street level and cooler than Gambit, and I kind of like to see Gambit as like the leader of this team. Is how I envision it for me. I'd like to read that book.
Okay. Yeah.
My second's going to be Nightcrawler. Again, I think that's a good combo, but I love Nightcrawler, and I think he could do some cool street level stuff with him. I can't use Wolverine, Dakota, but I can use X-23. So I'm going to throw
Yeah.
X-23 on there, and I can't have a Wolverine character without a fastball special. Colossus is going on there because I think even though we're street level, you still might need to do some heavy hitting. And then if we need
Mm-hmm.
to do any sneaking around, espionage, Psylocke will take care of that for us.
Yeah.
And that is my 5 for the street level.
That's a good team. I like it. I will say with this one, before we thought that we would add in kind of a dream team X-Men, but we decided that just deserves an episode all to itself. So some of the characters I may have put on this team might end up on my dream team, and I didn't want to reorganize my list here, so I'm leaving the dream team characters out. We do still have some overlap, and I was thinking like street team more stealth op. So a lot of mine is going to be more geared toward, the stealth missions.
Right.
So we do have X-23 and Psylocke are both on my team. I think those are great stealth
Smart
options. And like you said, you can't have Wolverine, but X-23 I think is almost better for a stealth op than Wolverine. I think.
Yeah, I think she keeps her cool a little better.
Right. I don't want Wolverine going berserk on the target. So
He's gonna blow our
Psylocke
cover.
is going to lead the team. X-23 is going to be on it.
Ooh,
And I went
okay.
with more of a ladies team here. So I've got Mystique. This is kind
Oh,
of Mystique
dude,
is kind
that's a
of
good call.
she's
Oh.
originally I had Morph, and then I was like, you know what, Morph's the only dude on the team, or sort of. So I was like, actually, we're just going straight to Mystique. And then I've got Dust, because I think Dust would be a good one to, infiltrate the place. You don't really notice her floating through the
Okay.
vents. And then I've got Domino for a little bit of luck.
Domino's a
So
good call.
that's my team
Yeah.
there. If I was going to have a 6th member, I would add Mercury. Again, another lesser known X character, but I still think she'd be very good for, sneaking through the hard to get places.
Right. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I was I started mine as like street level, like lower threat, but then I did have the stealth element in mind. I think I could still apply that a little bit. And I think we
Yeah.
could coach Colossus into some stealth missions. I think that
I was
actually,
going to say, I think Colossus might be the challenge there.
well, even when you're on stealth, dude, you run into those big robot
That's
sentries,
true.
and you know what I'm saying, dude. You might
That's
you
true.
might need them.
Yeah.
Mystique's a good call though. I was thinking more in the realm of like X-Men heroes, but I guess she kind of
hmm
can be a sometimes
Yeah.
ally, so that makes
Yeah. She,
sense.
she joins the team here and there. So I
Yeah,
figured this is kind of one of
that's
those
true.
times where she's not trying to attack the team. She's more, their goals are aligned here.
That is what we've got for our 3 categories of teams: book selling, cosmic, and street level. As always, we want to know what you guys think of our lists and share some lists of your own. So go ahead and comment below with what those are. And as always, please be liking, sharing, subscribing, and until next time, stay strong.